calling him. It must have been a combination of divine providence, our annoying persistence, and his deep-seated sense of civic duty. But Irv chose to put off the hazy, lazy days of retirement and made the remarkable decision to lend his talents to his country through public service. I'll let him tell the rest of the story, but hiring Irv was one of my best decisions as HUD Secretary, and his tenure as Chief Financial Officer one of the most revolutionary and consequential in the department's history. In this book, Irv gives valuable perspective on the often tedious, sometimes daunting, and always unpredictable process of going into public service, especially as a political appointee. His observations on the interview process, background checks, and seemingly endless paperwork might discourage some from switching gears into public service, but I hope it has the opposite effect. By providing a thorough description of the whole process, from the first phone calls to the first 100 days, from the greatest achievements to the greatest frustrations, Irv has crafted an excellent guidebook for anyone in the private sector thinking of coming to Washington and fixing problems. His perspective will be invaluable, not just to listeners seeking to understand the inner workings of HUD, but executives who wish to reform other federal agencies in years to come. The mechanics of administration within government institutions has one foot in the realm of business and the other in public policy, and this book would be equally at home within the curriculum of an advanced political science class or an MBA program. Like Irv, I had a long and fulfilling career before coming to government. We were not alone. There were countless professionals at HUD and across the administration who left retirement or lucrative private sector jobs to give something back to a country which had been so good to them. They brought this understanding, this sense of righteous mission, to work every day, and I was lucky to be surrounded by such optimism in the face of big challenges. HUD may have had the ugliest building in Washington, but it was filled with the best people. At the end of 4 years, Irv had helped us achieve something extraordinary. We took HUD's operating infrastructure and finances from being considered the worst of any cabinet agency to among the best in the federal government. HUD's 2020 Agency Financial Report received a clean audit report for the first time in 8 years. HUD was finally in compliance with countless oversight and accountability laws, and citizens could finally receive the service and care they needed through new technology and streamlined systems. It was an incredible turnaround for the department, and a lasting victory for Americans everywhere. It was to achieve such victories for our fellow Americans that I came to Washington. It was why Irv came to Washington, and I hope that this book will convince more men and women in any area of expertise at any stage in their careers to make the same journey. I can't wait to see what you accomplish. Dr. Ben Carson. Introduction. What the listener can expect. Never retire. I often reflect on the conversation I had with Frank Dragata, my high school principal, about 30 years after graduation. I was playing golf with my father-in-law and his friend, Frank. We were on a golf course near my hometown of Belvidere, New Jersey, which is tucked away in the northwestern part of the state. Belvidere is basically a tiny country town surrounded by farmland, and I visit the area too infrequently. Turning to the back nine, we got to talking about my career and the fact that my firm, where I was a partner, had a young mandatory retirement age. Frank said, "Never retire. You'll be bored. With your mind and skills, you'll want and need to do something." Frank was right, and his words have reverberated around in my thoughts ever since. Since I'm an extreme planner, when I turned 50, I started thinking about life after retirement. I would be financially okay, but I wanted to continue doing meaningful work and keeping my mind active. I grew up with humble beginnings, and giving back from a successful career in some way was important to me. Another 10 years later, after a full 37-year career, I was facing retirement as a senior global assurance partner with Ernst Young. At EY, retirement is prefixed around 60 years of age. It's part of the partnership agreement signed many years earlier. While I considered which road to take next, I received a surprising email from the White House. Before